Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaste. And first of all, being the 50th program as a continuous seminar without a break, I take this opportunity to thank each one of you connected directly and indirectly in giving this Vidya Dhanam in such a nice manner and benefiting so many people. Out of all the gifts, scriptures say Vidya Dhanam is superior. Of course, next to Kanya Dhanam. Why do they say it is superior? In any gift, when you give, the donor loses right over it and the donee becomes the recipient. But when it comes to gifting knowledge, it still stays with the donor, but enlightening the donee. And if the donee is going to contribute back, then actually the donor also gets enlightened. So this is the rare kind of attribute which knowledge has, which MTB has tried to give it for 50 continuous days. My pranams to all the 5 great legends, like the 5 fingers of a hand, and each finger had its own rare attribute. And what we need to do is only to join both the hands and offer our humble pranams to all the 5 great legends. If Imparted sir is listening to me, I want to take his blessings because he represents our office as the senior most. Before I venture to speak a few words, I've divided it into a few parts, CN and its work ethics. See, the way he taught us is this: as we travel, as we do a case, as we talk, he will issue a sutra. He'll say, this is the purpose of life. It will just come out of him. When it will come out, how it will come out, nobody has control. But when it comes out, if you are there around and pick it up, you're going to be benefited. So these are the gems which he has been giving out to us at different points of time. Work ethics. I said that on a last occasion on a seminar, but I'll just put it for sequence sake. 1, whenever a client comes to you, always think that you have to attend to him as how you would expect your wife to be attended by a doctor. That's the kind of care a client needs in life. Number 1. Number 2, you should, when it comes to preparation of work in terms of time, please invest the time that case requires and the effort that case requires. Don't think a high-stake matter requires higher effort and a low-stake matter requires a lower effort. Whatever effort you need to put for that particular case, put that effort. Only then you can consolidate and grow. 3, when you go to court, you must be fully prepared. When he says fully prepared, you won't believe, for an admission matter, which may even be a very simple matter, an admitted matter, we will all carry cartloads of books every time. And 99 out of 100 cases, he will not use them. He will read them in the office, it will be in the car, and it will be in the court, but he will not use it. But he will say, remember, court is also called a court battle. In a war, a warrior must have all the arrows on his back. He can't say, my arrows are there in my resting room. So you may use the arrows, you may not use the arrows, but you must always keep the arrows accessible. So complete preparedness is one feature as a work ethics. 4, in representation, impeccable integrity. That's a pride we can claim as an office. Impeccable integrity, both on facts and on law. Dirty facts, he will either say, I will use it and then fight it. If not, don't bring the beef. If it is a judgment against him, he will first show it to the court before the other side can show it and say, this is against me and this is the proposition for that. So that's the kind of standard he always maintained throughout his life and said that's very important for a lawyer. 5, never become dull. Never say profession is boring. Not once he has said that in his life. From day 1, he practiced from 1963 to 2019. And just 8-10 months before he passed away, that was the last time I met him in the office. After that, he started to fall slightly sick. He was intensely working on a grounds of appeal for a very important matter in the High Court. And he lifted his head and said, sit down. And I waited for 5 minutes till he completed it. And he said, are you surprised? What is this old man doing? No, I'm not surprised, sir. I've always called you a Karma Yogi, and all of us call you a Karma Yogi. For the first time, he nodded, maybe I can take that credit now that I become very old. And he said this, Venkataraman, I was like a painter for many years. Of late, last few years, I've become a sculptor. Every case is something to be sculpted. That was the last message I heard from him as on work ethics. Starting from how you should handle a client and how you should handle yourself in a case. The whole thing is a treasure which I preserve. And he used to always say, remember, it is hard to climb the tree, but once you know to climb it, it is easy to pick the cherries. That's how you should know to work. This is on the work front. When it comes to money, all of us, without exception, can say this about CN sir. And நிறைய இடத்துல இதை சொல்லியிருக்கேன். I will happily repeat it one more time. நாங்க எல்லாரும் எங்க சீனியர் எங்களுக்கு பணத்தை ஒரு நாள் எண்ணி கொடுத்ததே கிடையாது. ஒவ்வொரு தடவையும் அவர் அள்ளி கொடுத்திருக்கார். That's the kind of generosity he had all throughout his life. And he taught us when I was 23, 24 years old, within 6 months of my joining, this is what he taught to me on money. How do you value money? He said, you know what is going to come to you. Before it comes to you into your account, isolate in your mind what does not belong to you. That's the only way you can try to do something with the money which you earn for some other cause. This money has to go to this junior, plan it first. If you don't plan it, when it falls into your account, then mind will agitate to say whether you should give it or not. The second less moral he taught to me on money was, whenever there are 5 people in a company or more to spend money, if you can afford it more, volunteer and spend first. Don't wait for somebody to spend if you can spend. And 3, never have money as a destination to prepare a case. And he was a living example. He has always said there are many cases where we casually work and we get a lot of money. And he'll be slogging out for a 2,500 rupees tax effect case for 3 days, saying that there's an important law point involved and we should not err there. And this is a contribution we make to law. So you will make money in some cases and you will not make money in other cases, but the effort should be the same. And the last point he has taught us on money is never chase money in life. Never chase anything in life. And the reason he gave was, if you chase, then you will slowly get the tendency to compromise yourself. And once you start compromising, then you will say, hey, chalta hai, there's nothing wrong. And you will slowly get diverted in life. This is as far as his money part is concerned, which whatever I say, he has lived by rote. And 3, when it came to honors, I wanted to say 3, but Sridharan sir has already spoken about the House of Lords. In fact, as juniors, we always claim it as a pride to say, we all aspire to go and appear in House of Lords, but for our senior, House of Lords came to Chennai, Madras High Court and heard him. That's a rare privilege, possibly the rarest privilege. Like that, Supreme Court gave him a rare honor. When he was arguing the Gannon-Dunkerley case, second Gannon-Dunkerley case, he was not a senior at that time, and KP was engaged. But all the 5 judges wanted to hear our senior. But he stood up and said, as a protocol, I've engaged Mr. Parasaran, and therefore I don't want to argue. Even though Parasaran sir said, why don't you? He said, I want to follow that protocol. The Supreme Court said, then why don't you honor the court with your written submissions? He drafted a written submissions, which has become, I say this with a lot of happiness, that it became part. They said this will become part. 2 submissions became part of the judgment. In 73 STC, what Palkiwala in Naniji gave, it became part of the judgment. And in second Gyan Dankali, whatever CN submitted became part of the judgment. That was a rare honor gave by which Supreme Court gave it to him. And how he got designated is an interesting story. When Justice Swami was the Chief Justice, when he was arguing a matter, he was saying, Mr. Natarajan, why have you not thought about getting designated? And our sir replied, well, I never thought about it. That came the reply from the chief. We have thought about it and we have decided to designate you. He was one who was designated by the court without a request or an application or a process. That's one rare honor. The last two sections I want to talk about is his relationship. His relationship with every junior was like a mother and a child. Each junior will enjoy some level of comfort in his own way. Very unique. And what he does to one junior will not be known to the other junior. And his staffs, somebody, Ramesh was saying, people who joined, most of these staffs who are with him are first-time employment. Once they have joined the employment in their life, they have stuck with him. He has taken care of all of them throughout. But two relationships in his life are very, very, very exceptional. The relationship he had with Mr. Inbarajan sir and the relationship with T.S. Balasubramaniam. With Inbarajan sir, he gave himself to Mr. Inbarajan. It is the rarest, precious, unique, and the longest relationship I have seen in my life. From day one till he passed away, 47 years, it has been continuous. And in the case of T.S. Balasubramaniam, he prevailed. He was the only junior who was allowed to emotionally prevail over him. Whatever he found so much, his relationship gave so much, it gave him a lot of soothing effects. That's the kind of man he was. And it allowed him to do that. And finally, because of shortage of time, I will limit to two personal instances, which I thought I should share it at this juncture. We had a Guru Vandanam celebration on 20th March 2016, much against his wish, but he still came, putting so much of conditions. No judges should be invited. No senior should be invited. I will choose the list of invitees. He did all that. We accepted to all that and finally celebrated that Guru Vandanam. Videos are there in the YouTube. You know who was the surprise guest? Uninvited K. Parasaran sir came. He said, it is Natarajan's Guru Vandanam. If I am not there, then the function will not be complete. Uninvited, he came and delivered an extempore encomium on our senior. It's the rarest I thought I should mention. And the last one is his departure. March 2019, a few were invited by him. Whoever he wanted to see, he invited them personally on a different dates. So me and my wife went 2 long hours, longest time, where he spoke the most, rarest. And when I came out, I found that he was not well. So the next week we went to Shingeri. I prayed to my Guru that maybe my senior is not well. My Guru paused for 30 seconds and said, I think the plans of God are different. You should be prepared. And he taught me the lesson, how to pray for a man who is sick. He told me, see, this is something to do with nature. So none of us can interfere. So when a man falls very critically sick, always pray what is good to him should happen. Never pray the other way. And he gave me the prasadam, have it with you and use it. From March to May, I didn't venture to go and meet him. 31st May, Prakash phoned me and said, why don't you come and see father? So when I went and saw, he was critical. All of us were seeing that. And I made a second request to my spiritual guru. If you say that this is going to be the verdict, then you should bless me. At least I should be by his side whenever he leaves. He said, that I will bless it you. You will be by his side. And on 1st June and 2nd June, there are 2 very, very important meetings in Bombay. At 7 o'clock, 31st, I called them and said, I think my senior is not well. Will you allow me, excuse me these 2 meetings? I want to be with him. I don't know what prevailed me to say that. It happened. On first evening, I went with the prasadam and requested Prakash, said, can you please put it on his forehead and the akshade on his head? He said, yes, now we'll have a time to enter into to his room. He was in the ICU at that time. We will certainly do that, Venkatraman. I know you carry so much of sentiments. We will certainly do it. And he went inside and did it for my sake. This happened on 1st June at 7 p.m. And on 2nd June 2019, 5:10 a.m., Senior left all of us with all the wishes, with all the blessings parked here in our hearts. When we celebrated the Guru Vandanam, we offered him a plate and with an engraving. He said, "Why are you giving this to me?" And we all said, "This is something which your family, after several generations, should always remember about you." And with these words, this is what we inscribed in it, which fits possibly him as a whole. For journeying the path of nobility and humility, for achieving professional excellence and exalted success, for living a life full of dedication and sacrifice, for imparting knowledge without reservation, for standing as the tallest in human compassion and empathy, and for nurturing juniors who would ever remember and remain eternally thankful. I'm grateful to all of you for giving me this opportunity to present. He's an encyclopedia, it's a huge volume, and in whatever little time available, we could do. And we offer all this at his lotus feet with a fond prayer that he should continue to remain in our hearts, continue to bless us, and continue to guide us. Because Guru, as somebody was saying, Arvind was saying, Guru is not just a physical body. Guru is a tattva. And may his knowledge, may his grace, and may his guidance continue to help us in life. Thank you so much, please.
Oh, I am short of words. Just give me a break. Sir, I mean, you took us all into an ocean of emotions, I have to tell you. I was just visualizing what happened on the May 31st, first, Mr. Prakash or Prasad, who went inside, putting that, everything was, and I was able to visualize it. That was a great tribute, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. This will have a very lasting, very, very lasting effect on many of us, and more particularly to the juniors and the young generation. This is going to have a very lasting effect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So before I am now tempted to ask you this question. You described Senior in two forms. One, you explained about his greatest advocacy, that he is even part of a great judgment, a landmark judgment. He became a part of it and he's going to live forever. And on the other hand, you explained to him, in fact, vouched by, Ramesh also, that he was a mother for all juniors and the youth. Now, at the end of your career, if there is going to be one, then inspired by your Senior, what would be what is that you would be like to be remembered for? One of the greatest advocates like Senior, who had been a part of great evolution of jurisprudence, in dispensation of great justice, making great laws on the one hand, or on the other hand, the number of juniors you have groomed, the number of youth you have put on the right path. Which would be your preference, sir?
If I have to follow my Senior's footstep, he never wanted himself to be remembered after him. Yes, that's why we have always dodged whenever there was a meeting of a homage or condolence. His children will run away from that place. He has always said, we have come here to do our work and move. That has been his nature. And if at all there is a personal choice, I want to be remembered only as a good person, more than anything. See, achievements are all very, very relative. So whatever world sees or speaks, fine. Juniors, at least I would say this, they are not my juniors. Some of them have now become, working with various people in different places. Some of them have now become judges in some high courts. So in their felicitation, they call me to say that we will be mentioning also about you. I think that was one moment which gave me immense satisfaction as a professional at this point of time. Rest is all, whatever God destines, I should